and your neighbors across the country buy more food packages carrying this brand than any other in the world. And now, Borden's presents TV's newest and liveliest panel show, Make the Connection. And now let's meet our Make the Connection panel. The star of life with Elizabeth Betty White, disc jockey, humorist Gene Clavin, Hollywood actress and singing star Gloria DeHaven, the Hollywood and Broadway star Eddie Bracken, our moderator, the bright young television personality Gene Rayburn, and Borden's special guest tonight, Fred Allen.
Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another session of Make the Connection. We'll certainly welcome Mr. Allen a little bit later on. Tonight, as usual, our panel will try to make the connection between two contestants. And panel, you remember you can question our contestants as long as the light in front of you is on. And when the light goes out, the contestant receives $25. And when he has accrued a total of $150, the game is over. Everybody understand how we play this little deal here?
Would you repeat that?
He has a crude title of what?
Accrued.
Oh.
Now let's meet our first guests, please. Now, would you tell us your name and where you're from?
Lillian Evans, New York City.
Lillian Evans, New York City. And you, sir?
Lee Epstein, the Bronx.
And
Leon Slavin, Queens.
Leon Slavin, Queens.
George Adamy, Queens.
George Adamy, Queens.
John Schema, Queens.
John Schemer, Queens. I had the microphone way up there, and he had to look around. But we did hear all of your names and where you're from. Now, for the benefit of our audience, let's make the connection.
These men are all students in Miss Evans' class for expectant fathers.
Sure. Okay, panel, I'll give you one link in this connection. This is something that Miss Evans is doing for these gentlemen. And we'll start the questioning with Betty White.
Are you four gentlemen a team of some sort?
No.
Is there any sport or athletics connected with what you do?
No.
No.
Well, do you have something in common aside from your connection with Miss Evans?
No.
Yes,
Well-
yes, I must correct you on that. You do have something in common with all of these
Yes.
gentlemen, yes.
Do you work together?
No.
No.
Do you share the same kind of hobby? I'm winning?
No, the answer to that is no, if I may intercede here. That's $25 down and $125 to go, and now let's hear your questions, Gene.
Miss Evans, I'm a little tired of this game. Would you be interested in some post office? Do you do a service for these fellas?
Yes,
Do they come to you for the service?
yes, they did.
Does this service have to do with advice?
Could be called that.
Mm-hmm.
It could be called that, but I better be careful from here on in.
No, all right.
Well, does it have to do with romance, marriage?
Yes,
Are these fellas coming to you for this advice because they're going to be married soon?
no.
No. That's $50 down and $100 to go. Gloria DeHaven.
Miss Evans, could I ask you, is this something you do for more married men than single men?
Yes.
Sure.
Gentlemen, are you married?
Yes.
To each other?
No.
Well, is this something that you're all learning something from Miss Evans, is that right? Has it to do with your families?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Your families? Your children?
Yes.
In a way, yes.
In a way. Is Miss Evans teaching you something about your children or a course for your children? Or?
Yes.
You're pretty close to it. Can you elaborate on it a little more?
Well, first...
You're not very close to it. At $75 down and $75 to go. Eddie, do you think you have any idea
Well,
what
I
this
think
connection is?
very definitely Gloria led me into it. These are expecting fathers, and this is a nurse teaching them how to take care of children.
That's correct, Eddie. You got it right on the nose. I must say, Gloria, you did get pretty close to it, and you were pretty sharp tonight. Miss Evans, what are some of the things you teach these gentlemen?
Well, we teach them how to take care of the baby, you know, for example, bathing it, dressing it, holding
How
it.
how to hold it properly and how to feed it.
How to
And
put
you
on the
teach them
bed.
that after they feed them, they put them over there, and then they, you know, that business,
Gently.
you teach them all that gently. Sure.
And also, the wives, how to take care of themselves during their pregnancy,
Mhm.
health practices, which are good for...
You know, Gene, I
expectant
have
mothers.
a course going on now. I teach the nurses how to do this to teach the others.
How many children do you have?
5.
I guess you could.
Overtrained.
Did you volunteer to take this course, or did your wife twist your arm, or how did you get into it?
I think it was mutual.
You just
Yeah.
talked it over, and has
Yeah.
that happened with all of you? You decided that you'd like to go into it. When do you expect the blessed event in your family?
About October 19th.
October 19th?
Christmas.
Around Christmas?
November 15th.
November 15th.
October 10th.
October 10th. Well, everything seems to be under control. It's almost nervous time, isn't it? Borden's would like to help you get started. And to help you get started, they are going to see that each of you receives a supply of Borden's evaporated milk. And that'll get your young people off to a very good start. We'd like to thank you on behalf of Borden's for being our guests tonight and wish all of you the greatest success in the world. Thank you very much.
you.
And thank you, Miss Evans. How many, did either of you men ever take a course like this, or you know all about it? How about you, Gene?
Well, it comes natural to you, this whole thing, I understand.
Yes, it does.
I'd like to say one more thing, though, Gene. It's a little bit in the business here, but last week, Eddie mentioned the Hess store in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and he got bawled out. You just gave a plug for a product, and that wasn't nice. You know?
But it's a very nice product, and I am happy to do it any time on behalf of Borden's. Now, let's move along with our next connection. May we have our next guest, please? Let me just put that phone book down there for you and get you up on the chair because you're kind of short. Is that comfortable for you? Good. Would you tell us your name?
Carolyn Griner,
Carolyn Griner, and where is your home, Carolyn?
90-46 Crone Avenue, Elmhurst, Long Island.
Elmhurst, Long Island. That's a pretty cute hat. Did you get that hat recently?
For Easter.
For Easter? Well, it's very attractive.
Thank you.
Now, would you give us your name?
Louise Manziak,
And where do you live, Louise?
2090 Bryant Avenue, Bronx.
Well, it's nice to have you with us, and you look very charming in your Girl Scout uniform.
Thank you.
Now, for the benefit of our audience, let's make the connection.
This past summer, Louise Manziak saved Carolyn Griner from drowning.
Would you sit a little closer to me? There we are. Panel, I'll give you one link to begin you on this series. This is something Louise did for Carolyn. Louise did for Carolyn, and we'll start with Gloria DeHaven.
Well, Carolyn was just grinning and seemed so happy. It must have been kind of nice. Was it fun, Carolyn? You liked it?
It wasn't fun. Would you smile, please, for us? Would you look at the camera?
Carolyn!
Why not, Carolyn?
Good.
Because why?
My teeth are out.
Your teeth are out. Well, this happens to everybody, Carolyn. I don't think you should feel bad about it. You look very charming, with or without teeth. I'll take mine out for you if it makes you feel any better.
Carolyn, is that what you want for Christmas? No? Louise, let me ask you something. My little girl is a Cub Scout, so I know a little bit about the Scouts. Does this have something to do with, is it connected with being a Girl Scout? Is what you did for Carolyn being a part of the Girl Scouts?
Oh, no.
You would have done it.
Indirectly.
You would have done it anyway.
Yes.
Has it anything to do with a rescue as far as Carolyn is concerned, or saving her in any way?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
thank you,
it does.
Carolyn.
That's $25 down and $125 to go. And Gloria, you're pretty sharp tonight. You've given Eddie 2 clues there. Eddie, can you pick it up?
Well, I can try to pick it up by saying, did this happen, was there water connected with this?
Which,
Yes.
You're asking Carolyn?
I'll ask Carolyn. Was there water connected with this, Carolyn?
Yes.
Were you in swimming at the time?
No.
But there was water connected. Did this happen out of doors? Did this young lady save you while you were in the water? Were you drowning at the time? And
That's it, Eddie. You got the connection. You made the connection. Louise here is a very brave and quick-thinking young lady. Last summer, she saved Carolyn from drowning. Can you tell us a little bit about it, Louise, how it happened?
Well, Caroline was playing by the lake there, and she leaned over too far, and she fell in head first. And I saw that, but instead of running for help, it would waste too much time. I went over there, and I leaned out, and I grabbed her hand, and I pulled her in.
Well, that was a wonderful thing to do, indeed. Yes?
I wanted to say one thing. I think I got a little confused. I said I knew a little bit about the Scouts. My daughter wants to be a Brownie.
I was going to say, if she's a Cub Scout, she must have more fun than anybody.
It's my son that wants to be a Cub Scout. He's a Brownie. Isn't that right? The little ones are Brownies.
That's right.
That's
Let's
what my
keep this
daughter's a
thing
Brownie.
straight here.
She still wants to be a Cub Scout.
I'd like to point out why Louise is in her Girl Scout uniform tonight. Right after the show, Mrs. Fred Cushman, who is the Girl Scout commissioner in the Bronx, is going to take her to a Leaders Club meeting where she will receive the Girl Scout Life-Saving Award. And our congratulations to you. The Borden Company would also like to add their congratulations to you, Louise, for your heroic actions. And we spoke to your mother this afternoon to find out what we could do for you, what sort of thing we might get for you. She told us that you'd like to have something that you could share with the other girls in your troop. And we poked around a little further and found out that the equipment you need is an outdoor camping outfit, and we're going to see that you get it. The whole works for you and your troop. Thank you very much, Louise. Good night. Now, don't you go. How about standing right here for 1 minute and looking at the camera and closing your eyes? Would you do that? Because I've got something for you, too. That's fine. And smile, too, while you're waiting. No. Everybody in unison. No. Now you may open your eyes, Carolyn. What do you think of this attractive and charming lady? Isn't that something? We got that for you because we thought it might help keep you indoors and away from the piers and away from the water for a while until you learn how to swim. Would you like to have this doll? All right, you may have it. How about giving me a little kiss on the cheek here? That's fine. Hell doll of a child.
Gene, are you sure she wouldn't rather have that puppy dog?
In just a moment, panel, you're going to have a chance to make the connection between our guest star, Fred Allen, and another gentleman. All right, now, before we carry on here, I must remind myself here to mention a great organization. I neglected to mention the organization that Miss Evans is connected with, the young lady who was with us a little earlier in the program, who teaches expectant parents how to take care of little children. She is from the Visiting Nurse Service of New York, a fine group of people who do a great work. Now, friends, one of the truly great names in American humor, author of Treadmill to Oblivion, Mr. Fred Allen. I haven't said anything yet, Fred.
No,
Why are you laughing?
I'm anticipating, Gene. I'm looking forward to something you're going to say, something witty, I hope.
Well, I'll sit here.
Because I am not prepared. I'm truly not prepared.
Well, you haven't been doing much preparation these days for television shows because I
that's
understand
true.
you're real busy writing another book.
That's true. My autobiography. And I have to live 10 more, it's short up to now. I have to live 10 more years to be able to finish the book, so it'll take some time to...
How many pages do you expect it to be?
Well, I don't know. I don't write in pages. There aren't any verbs in my... and there isn't any punctuation in the first chapters. I have 400 pages of one sentence. No punctuation. So I forgot the punctuation in my desire to speed it up.
Well, I'm certainly going to look forward to that book with no punctuation. I wasn't very good at that myself. Now, Fred, it's time to meet the second half.
Really? Time went so quickly, really?
It's time to meet the second half of your connection. The celebrated musician, actor, author, and bon vivant, Meredith Willson.
Oh.
I didn't mean to imply that you weren't tall enough to reach the microphone. I just forgot to remove the telephone.
Don't tell me Meredith is going to get a doll, too.
I thought you were bucking for another kiss on the cheek.
That may be, Meredith. Who knows? I would like to point out to all you assembled here
French leave, I was going to say, if he starts kissing you on the cheek.
that Meredith has written another book. He's done it for the third time in a row now. As you remember, he wrote a book called There I Stood with My Piccolo.
Uh-huh.
And then he wrote Who Did What to Fidelia. It sounds like a bit out of Alan's alley. I don't believe these titles either,
No,
Fred,
that's
do
true.
you?
I've read both of them. They're excellent.
You have? How is this one, Fred? Have you had an advanced peek at it?
No, it's not out yet, is it, Meredith?
Oh.
Yes, it was out yesterday. As a matter of fact, Fred Allen stars in the first chapter.
Oh, really? Well, I'll certainly read the first chapter. I'm looking forward to that. I'm working on another book, The Man Without a Country by Perron, you know, the...
I think we ought to get along here with
well,
the
time
business
is,
at
yes,
hand.
things, we've got to rush things along.
We're going to do something tonight that we've never done before.
You ought to name hurricanes, Gene. You're so good.
We're going to do something that we've never done before, and that is do a connection here with one half of the connection actually not knowing what it is.
There'll be some sputtering, I can see that.
The panel doesn't know, and neither does Mr. Wilson. But for the benefit of our audience now, let's make the connection.
Mr. Wilson has forgotten, but he owes Fred Allen $19 for 5 years.
Panel, let me give you this one link. This is something Fred did for Meredith, and we'll start the questioning with Gene Clavin.
Mr. Wilson, did Mr. Allen write your last book?
No, actually, I don't think he did.
No, I didn't.
I'm going to have to help him out here since he doesn't know what the connection is.
I can recognize you because you don't have the glasses on.
He's the only barefaced eyed here, the only barefaced.
No, I'll use this tomorrow. I wish you'd finish them. Meredith, is this to do with music?
I don't know, Gene. They didn't tell me.
I know, and I won't tell. I'm the only...
It has nothing to do with music. I'll answer that question.
Well, has it anything to do, Mr. Allen, with jokes?
No.
That's $25 down and $125 to go. Gloria, you may go ahead.
Fred, does it have anything to do with your writing?
No.
Does it have anything to do with professional work at all?
Vaguely.
Vaguely?
Vaguely.
Did this
Very
happen,
vaguely.
Did this happen a long time ago?
Comparatively a long time.
15 years ago?
No.
10 years ago?
No.
20 years ago?
No.
This way? I feel like I'm playing
I shouldn't
charades.
help you, but
No, only yes or no. Take a wild guess. You know, you're
Is
further.
it something that happened very recent, the last couple of years?
no.
You better tell her, Mr.
I think it
Allen.
was. Wasn't Fred about 2 or 3 years ago?
4 years ago.
4 years
Did
ago.
it have to do with your personal lives? Your wives, perhaps?
No.
Wives,
No.
That's $50 down and $100 to go. Eddie?
Did you, was there an object involved here?
An object? Yes. There was an object.
Did you fill his fountain pen for him or something like that?
No.
No, I hadn't. This object is something I could hold in my hand?
No.
No, it's a big object like a piano?
No.
You didn't...
Not quite that big, no.
Not quite as big as a piano. It's in the middle somewhere.
In between.
Or, is it a living object?
No, it's not living.
Not
That's
living.
$75 down and $75 to go. And let's hear from Betty White.
Mr. Allen, did you give Mr. Wilson anything?
No, I didn't.
No.
Did you sell him anything?
No.
Mr.
Panel,
Wilson, is there anything you should know?
Time is gone.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to reveal the connection now to you, and we'll award the full $150 to our contestants here.
Really?
Yes, we will. Meredith has forgotten, panel, but he owes Fred $19.
He sure does. For 4 years.
Would you like to refresh his memory now, Fred?
I
and tell us the
certainly
story?
would. When we were in Paris with the big show with Tallulah Bankhead, when we did the show in Paris, Meredith was going to fly home, and he had a large music trunk that weighed a ton, and he couldn't take it on the plane, and he asked me if I would take it on the boat. We were coming on the Queen Elizabeth, and I spent $19 to send the trunk down to Le Havre to get on the boat, and I haven't gotten it yet. And at the rate of exchange, that's 6,500 francs, you know.
That's a lot of hot dogs.
It sure is.
But no
Why don't you
mustard.
just sign over the rights to the book to him, Meredith, and let it go at that? Actually, Eggs I Have Laid is a book that anybody here could have written, but it sure seems like Old Home Week.
Did you write it standing up?
Yes, on a Dickens desk.
Oh, did you really?
Yes. It is like Old Home Week, Gene, and I recall with great pleasure some of the arguments Fred and I used to have on the big show. I'm going to pay you the 19, Fred, in francs, so.
All right.
And, Fred, do you still feel as you do about Boston versus Mason City, my hometown?
Well, I do, Meredith, because you always claimed that folk music started out in that part of the country.
That's right, Song of the Plowboy.
And I think that that folk music, the people in small towns have the best of it. The people in the big cities have no music, like the cowboys or the plow hands. We have no music in the cities. The man who's on the sanitation truck, or the man who goes down to the BMT, or the man who works in the Chase Bank, he has no music to sing as he goes to work.
Has no song.
And I have written a City Billy song.
A City Billy song?
City Billy. It's not a hillbilly. It's a City Billy. And it's about a man who works in the city. His name is Homer Tracy. And I brought the lyrics here, and I have the song, if you would be kind enough to play it for me.
On what?
Shall we take a
on the
whack at it?
piano,
On the
if you can
piano
play
over
it.
there?
And if I could get the panel to help me with the lyrics.
All right, panel,
and
would
we'll
you be
sing.
willing to cooperate?
To become a choir on short
A little
notice. Can you
semicircle
become a
around
choir?
here.
Because time is fleeting, you know. Time goes awfully fast.
Oh,
in
it does.
television.
Time does go. I happen to bring my guitar.
Oh, good for you. Because
this the
you may
music
have just
here, Fred?
ended
That's
up
the
playing
stuff
it.
right
Now,
there.
if you will look at these lyrics and see if you can help me out with them. It's a very simple melody.
It looks like
and,
it's in Tallulah's key. I don't know. It's
It
awfully
is,
low.
it's pretty low, but we'll scrape it up off the floor if you can really go that low.
Everybody
Now,
tune up. Everybody
I sing the verse, and you folks sing the chorus when we come to the chorus. It's very simple.
Same song?
No, not necessarily. It might improve it. Listen, folks, the song I'll sing, a different sort of ditty. Our hero didn't live in the hills, he lived in New York City. Our hero lived in New York City, his name was Homer Tracy. He worked in a department store, and the store was owned by Macy's. Yes, but Homer was a city boy, he wore an Adam hat. He took the BMT to work, and he ate in the automat. Our hero was a floor walker, his name was Homer Tracy. He walked the floor in a department store, and the store was owned by Macy's. Once Macy's had a girdle sale, the mad mob lost its head. They trampled Homer till closing time, and they left him there for dead. The blood of Homer Tracy. There was gore on the floor of the department store, and the store was owned by Macy's. In his coffin, Homer lay with a smile. We knew what the smile on his face meant. Homer Tracy was still with Macy. They buried him in the basement. The epitaph on Homer's grave says life is just a symbol. I might be alive today if I had worked for Gimble.
Really created something for city
Another
folks.
first.
And
Another
thank
first.
you,
And our
Meredith
time
Wilson.
is all gone again. We'll be dead before the night is over. Our time is gone.
No, we won't. I certainly do want to thank Meredith Wilson and Fred Allen for being with us tonight. In just a moment, I'll tell you about next week's guest. Now it's time for me to bid a collective good night to our panel and congratulate them for the good job they did tonight, vocally. And we hope you'll be able to join us here again next week when our guest will be Peter Lawford. Until then, good night.
Be a real Hollywood player, tip number 12. It's not who you know, it's what you know. Hollywood Showdown. Be a player. Weeknights at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Game Show Network.
Transportation for Make the Connection was arranged by American Airlines, the country's leading airline. American Airlines serves 77 major cities. They will fly you in luxurious comfort aboard DC-7 flagships.